Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great on today. Today we will be talking about self-love and what does self-love mean to me. If we want to go into talking about self-love, the definition Google gave was, self-love means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. And I began to think about that because, you know, when you think about self-love, you have to think about yourself because of course it's self-love. And with self-love, it sometimes requires you to be selfish with your time. And when you think about time, time is very important in many ways. And when you're selfish with your time, that means you value your time. So you're not just going to be wasting your time being in relationships that don't mean good. Just to get into a little bit about me, when I did not love myself, I settled for jobs that I knew I was worth more than. I settled for men and friendships that I knew I was worth more than. And for instance, like my first job, I worked at Sykes, and then I started working at fast food. And deep down inside, I knew, Lexis, you have so much talent. Lexis, you can be doing more with yourself. You can draw. You know how to do hair. You have all of this in you. Why are you settling when you don't see yourself doing this for a career? So, I used to always have that in the back of my mind, but I never had the courage to push forward. And on that walk of not knowing my worth, I started settling for friendships. Even when I knew they meant me no good, I settled for the laughter, just having someone in my corner. And when I started thinking about I wanted someone in my corner so bad to the point I hated being alone, that's when I knew I did not love myself because I always had to have someone there. I never really enjoyed my own company. And so as I go back in time, I had nights that I used to be depressed. I used to cry several nights because I just felt like I was a failure. And the whole time I craved love, but how can I expect something from someone that I don't even give to myself? So I was just like, how am I going to have someone to treat me like the somebody I want to be when I don't even treat myself like that? So I used to, be like, okay, I'm going to do better with myself. But I never really was serious until one day, I got tired of crying. I was at my grandmother's house, and I remember laying on the couch. It was very silent in the house, and I cried silently. Tears was flowing down my face, and I was just saying to myself, I got to get up. I have to get up from here. And from that day, it was more so a fight, because it was the old me battling with the new person I wanted to become. I didn't know how to take the route of self-love because I was surrounded by people who did not love themselves. But I knew that I had a greater purpose. So I was going to do as much as I can to get to the woman I am today. And of course, God was there for me. Also, on this walk of self-love, I had withdrawals because, when people think of withdrawals, they think of drugs. And it's kind of similar because when you're trying to get off drugs, you want to be sober, but you're so used to doing drugs, your body is craving something. So it was the same with self-love. I was so used to degrading myself as a woman. I was so used to, doing things that I knew would hurt me in the long run. So even when I wanted better for myself, it was a fight. My body craved sex, just being honest. It craved sex even when I know that person didn't mean me no good. So, of course, it's me telling myself, girl, you better not lay down with that person. You better not do it. Because, he mean you no good. He don't love you. He shows you this. Like, that's me. Okay, Alexis, we ain't finna go back down this route. And then it's my body having withdrawals. See? But you have to always look ahead. What helped me was I was like, I'm not gonna look behind me. So I started saying to myself, I took one step. One step, that step is growth. It can be a little step, not sending a text a day. It can be saying no. It can finally be you standing up for yourself, which is another step to self-love. So I started looking at the little steps I was taking as big. Everything was big growth to me, and that helped me become who I am today. I'm not gonna lie, the withdrawals I had, I cried, and that was before I was saved. And now, being saved, I can honestly say, I didn't know how much I was worth, not from God telling me how much I was worth, because I just knew I was worth more than settling for the friendships, the jobs, and everything. But I didn't know how deep the self-love I should have for myself should go. And when God, set my price as far above rubies, I'm saying to myself, like, girl, do you not know who you are? And I started walking with a different type of confidence because, when I was in the world or whatever, I did feel like a failure. I did not have a high school diploma. I did settle for things just because it got me by, knowing I could go an extra mile because of the potential I had in me. I always seen the potential. I always had big dreams, but it was me, not just the people around me. It was me being my biggest enemy. So it's like now, I'm selfish with my time because I know I'm valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna sit up here and waste my time with nothing that I don't have to. And also, it's like pushing myself to become a better me, loving myself. The confidence I have now, I did not have back then. I love looking good, but back then, I loved looking good too, but for the wrong reasons. I didn't look good for me. I looked good for others because, I wanted some type of attention. I was craving some type of affection from others. The love I wanted was for others. Like, I looked good because I knew if I walked down here, I was going to get hit on or something. I just wanted that feedback. But it's just like, I'll be in the house looking a mess, all day. But soon as I go outside, I wanna look good because I know I'm gonna get feedback, and that was for the wrong reasons. So now, I don't look good for nobody but me. I feel like as a woman, you should always feel beautiful. When you leave out the house, you should look beautiful, even around the house. And I treat myself like that because I'm worth than looking crazy. I feel like I should be beautiful at all times. And I know being beautiful is not just the outside, it's the inside too. And that's a part of self-love. I had to get detoxed. I had to get detoxed from the old me. My attitude. I looked good on the outside, but my attitude was horrible. My mouth, the words that came out, God had to edify my tongue because I was nothing good. Like, I looked it good, but when I opened my mouth, I was horrible. My heart was hard. So self-love isn't just loving the outside you. You have to love what's in you. So, I, like, now being saved on this walk, it's more so like God really showed me something different. I knew it was more to me because, like, on these 2 years of being saved, I have accomplished more. You know, it's more so like I'm figuring out myself. Like, I love me. I know I'm not who I used to be, but it's just like, okay, it's like a gold mine. I'm digging because I know I'm worth more than what I thought I was worth. And it's like I'm digging inside trying to pull out these jewels. And now it's different for me because I'm more so trying to pull out from the inside. I'm not really worried about what's on the outside because I know beauty is more than your outside appearance. So it's just like when you want to start loving yourself, the steps I took in the beginning, I said to myself, okay, I'm around this group of people. You know, all we do is sit on FaceTime, we gossip, you know, we don't really have no purpose. I'm like, okay, even though I didn't know the steps to become who I am today, I had to let go of some relationships, friendships. I mean, and I did feel alone in the beginning, but I felt good for finally doing something for me. And you have to keep that in your mind. And I started becoming stingy, not in a bad way. It was more so like, this is for me for the first time, because when you live for another person, it becomes draining. And I was not, I didn't love myself because I was more so living for another person. I mean, literally everything, my everyday life in the past was for another person. I literally would live up to society. But when I said to myself, you know what, it's draining, I can't do it no more. I can't be around these people. Listen, I stopped. And when I did that, I can say it was literally the best decision I ever made. Because on that walk, even though I let go of some people, God removed people out my circle. People that I thought that I would never, you know, detach from. I thought that I was going to be around people that I knew since we were little. But it's just like I started to realize that, you know, if it's not for me, it's just not for me. I had to learn that some people are in your life for a season. And when I started picturing myself, I kept picturing the person I wanted to be. You know, I wasn't looking at me right then. I did not love myself. I didn't think I was beautiful at all. It's been times that, you know, I used to have to look in the mirror and speak to myself. You are beautiful. I had to throw away all my weave that I used to wear. I used to wear wigs. I used to wear makeup. And being that I was living up to society for so long, it was like I hated who I was naturally. I mean, I was going to have some type of makeup on. It did not matter where I was going. You know, I couldn't be the natural me. I couldn't wear my real hair out because I hated who I was behind closed doors. But I said, not no more. When I tell you I threw away everything, and this was 2 years ago, right before I got saved, I threw away everything. I threw away clothes that was provocative. I threw away my makeup. I threw away my wig. And I was just like, you know what? You don't need all that, because if you don't love who you are, how do you expect somebody to love who you are? And I kept that in mind. So it was a withdrawal because I was so used to living up to society, but I kept that thought and kept that thought of wanting to be a better me in my head. No matter what, you know, I didn't let stuff come in my ear. I didn't listen to other people. I didn't care how I looked. And that's another thing. When you love yourself, you know, you don't really care about what people think. You know, it may be a situation where you're going to say no for the first time to someone, but that's because you love you and you're not going to put yourself in that predicament. So, you know, you're going to lose people. I lost people on this journey of loving myself. And it's just like, I mean, I was just like, Lord, whatever you're doing. And that was before I got saved. And now that I'm saved, I definitely don't have the people in my corner that I used to be around. But I can honestly say, being who I am today, it was because of God. The love he gave me, you know, and the love he's given me, I'll say, you know, is a love that's unexplainable. So it's like I was so used to not I was so used to not being alone that now, even when I'm alone, I'm not lonely. I love me. Like, I love me. I don't care how much, I will put my foot down. I don't care how much I like a person, as in, I'm going to talk about dudes as well, because sometimes us ladies, listen, we let our emotions come in the front and we forget about who we are. And it's just like, I had to realize who I was. Like, you are worth more than that. I'm not settling for nothing because I don't have to, And now in the book of Proverbs, it talks about a virtuous woman and stuff like that. And, that's who I'm striving to be. So it's just like back then, I knew I was worth more than what I was giving myself. But it's like, okay, now I'm in the church. And yeah, I took that journey of cutting off people, having withdrawals. And now it led me to the church. And it's like, okay, now you're digging more. So my goal is to strive to be a virtuous woman. Because, I don't want to just be a woman. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like my worth, like my time. Like yesterday in Sunday school, we were talking about time. And I started looking at myself again, because I used to have this schedule with my time. At 3 o'clock, I was doing this. At 4 o'clock, I'm doing this. I wrote out my time. And my days went by smooth. And it's just like when I got away from that, my days was just up and down. Like I didn't know what was going to happen, but I started feeling ill. Like you just let a whole 24 hours go by, girl, and you ain't do nothing to better you. So yesterday in Sunday school, when the apostle was talking about time and pretty much being timely and what you're doing with your time and how your time is money, I started looking at myself, and it all rewind back to self-love, because you're not finna just be all over the place if you love yourself, because you know that your time is valuable and you have to do this hour, you have to do this, that hour, because if you don't, now you're hindering yourself. Sometimes we can think that, Satan is hindering us, and that's not really the case. So it brought back self-love to me, because when you love yourself, you value yourself, which means everything that come with you, your time, you value your money. Because, for instance, if you're working on the job, you working for that money. So you're going to spend it a little different, versus somebody handing you $500. You feel like that's fun money. But the money you worked for, you be like, all right, I'm going to save that money. And then the money that they gave me, I'm going to spend. Because you didn't work for that money. It was a gift. It was given. So it's just like, okay, so if my money is valuable, because the time I labored on that job, my time is valuable, So I look at everything that comes with me as valuable, not just the things that people can see. No, and it's all a part of self-love. I can say, loving myself, I honestly wish I would have did it sooner, because when I didn't love myself, I settled for so much things that I shouldn't have. Even when I know it didn't mean me no good, I did it because I didn't see myself out of a box. I had previously watched a video, Dame Dash, I recall that's his name, and he was talking about a dream. I don't know about nobody else, but I always had big dreams. But I hindered myself because I stayed in a box. And the things he was saying was like, it was so good because, we can hinder ourselves. When you stay living in reality, you don't really push yourself. But when you love yourself, you see yourself being a better you. So regardless of how hard the task is, you still push yourself. And just testifying, I remember when I was in the world, I used to be around a female, and that was my road dog. When you seen her, she was like the white on my rice. Like we was really we was road dogs. And When I realized I didn't love myself because I was willing to put myself in predicaments like that I knew I shouldn't be in. I was hard-headed. I was snappy, so we used to hang out all the time. And if anybody messed with her, I was willing to fight, risking my freedom. That's when I knew I ain't loved myself. And also, I was saying to myself, Alexis, and don't get me wrong, because marriage is a beautiful thing. I'm not saying marriage can be a goal, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful thing, but that's not the main thing that I was worried about. But I just went to thinking about myself because I was thinking about the relationships that I used to settle for. And I said to myself, how do I expect a man to love me when I don't even love myself? So I used to think about that in my head. Like, you fall for everything. Literally, you fall for everything. You literally don't hold yourself accountable for nothing. What are you doing, Lexis? Like, I had to really shake myself up because I was living in this fantasy world that, I love myself, and I really didn't. I used to have to share stuff on Facebook to make myself believe that I loved myself. But it's deeper than that, because when you truly value who you are, you literally will not let things that that will hurt you. You will literally let go of things. No matter how bad your emotions try to dictate your actions, you will literally be like, no. You will take a stand for yourself. And you will literally back up. Like, hey, this is not for me. You'll put your wall up. But see, when you don't love yourself, even when you know it's no good for you, you will literally let people fall on you. You will let stuff get by without saying anything, and you be the one depressed. You be the one crying in the corner. It's like now, I can honestly say that the things God has been doing in my life, I don't regret. This self-love journey was not easy. It was not. I didn't just wake up one day and become this person. No, like, I literally had to fight to get here. And then it's like God was helping me fight. Looking back now, I can say 2 years ago, I didn't think that I would be who I am this soon. Like, I knew I was going to be this woman of God. I knew that I was going to be, what they say, that chick, that girl. I knew I was going to be her one day, even though I wasn't her then. But it's just like, while I was going on that journey, as I was walking, I wasn't looking back. And the more steps I took, regardless of how small those steps may seem to someone, they were big because I got here quicker than I thought. See, when you stay focused on this self-love journey, things gonna strip. I start becoming a different me, and I start feeling free. I felt good. Taking a stand for once in my life, it's just like, okay, wow, you took a stand for something? Take a stand for something else. I started sitting differently. I started walking differently. I started talking differently because I know who I am. And it's just like, I can't go back. Like, when I do look back, I don't regret nothing that I done in life. I mean, because I learned from it, and it helped me become a better me. But when I look back at the things I used to settle for, I'm just like, wow, like, you really went that low, and it's just like, I'll never go back. I can't. I just can't. I can't. I'm worth too much. I'm worth too much. So on this journey, you may not feel what you're trying to be. You may not see it right then because I was around so many people. I was stuck in a box. I can't really speak for nobody else. I grew up around my mom. I a single mom, and I'm not gonna say my mama didn't love us, but I know she didn't love herself because she used to get beat on by dudes. So I never had anything to really look up to, So I just felt like, well, I just don't need to be like her, and I'm going to take a different walk. But being surrounded by that, when you around people that don't love themselves, everything seems so normal. But I started looking at my life like it's not normal to get beat on. It's not normal to cope with drugs. It's not normal. You don't love yourself, Lexis. It's not normal to always feel like you got to have somebody around. This stuff is not normal. So I had to realize I'm in an abnormal situation. Lexis, you need to wake up. Like, you need to wake up. So even though I was surrounded by all of that, it did not determine me taking another step to get out of it. So even though I lived around these people, I would go and take a walk. I would go somewhere outside. I would take a mental break, and I would plan. Plan like, okay, let's just, I see, I see myself doing this. Okay. I didn't know how I was going to become the woman of God I am, but I just knew that I kept saying no to things that I was settling for. I knew that if I would have went back to that dude, that I would have still been in the same predicament and wishing I was out. And it's like I would have started all over again. And I just said that I wasn't doing that anymore. I knew that if I would have got myself tied back up with them friends, that I'd probably be right back in the club. And I'm like, I'm tired of living that lifestyle. I'm not doing that no more. Like, I'm not finna sit up here and gossip. I'm not doing it no more. So although I was around these people, I detached myself slowly but surely. Like on this walk, God removed some things, but I had to remove some things. And it's like I started becoming a better me because I got detoxed from them. And it's like now God started showing me stuff. He led me to bigger and better things. Even with the mistakes, I'm not perfect at all. Even with the mistakes I have made being saved, it's just like, when I fall, it's like, wow, Alexis, do you really love yourself how you said you love yourself? But then I go to thinking to myself, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but hey, with this fall, I can't do. I literally start evaluating everything. I start looking at my time. I start saying to myself, okay, you did this. You got to do something different about this. Okay, you can't let this close to you again. Like I start thinking about stuff because when I look back at who I used to be, I'm not trying to be that person anymore. So it's just like now standing up for myself, and I keep saying that because you're going to have to. And you're going to have to stand against things that you're not going to feel comfortable with. You're going to cry because, honey, I cried. But let those tears water you, But I started looking, I had to change my mindset, too, in how I perceive things. With, as I said before, with growth, you may think not texting back is nothing big. But it is something big. Start looking at everything big. That's a big step. I'm a step closer to who I am. Stay looking forward. Because when you run in a race, you don't look back when you run in a relay race. You literally keep going. You look forward. All you do is have your hand back to grab the baton. If I said it wrong, forgive me. But you just keep your head at the path that you're trying to take. So it's the same with walking. You're going to stumble. I'm not going to say you're not going to fall. But when you look back at it all, you're going to be thankful. And it's like it was a life lesson for me, I'll say, because now I can say no to stuff, whether it hurt or not. Like now, using that lesson that I learned back then, for settling for so much less, now I can say no to things. I know my worth. I ain't settling. And it's just like the way I get poured into is a different type of way. Back then, I did get poured into, but it was toxic. I was so toxic. But it's like now having people in my corner to pour into me, to become a better woman, the gems that I get, the nuggets, the wisdom, all of this is helping me become a better woman, and I cherish that, because when I look at myself, I love myself, and the advice that's given to me, it it makes me look at myself like, okay, this advice can help me become a better me. I love myself, I'm going to take it. And looking back, the jobs that I settled for, and I know I mentioned it previously, I worked for a lot of fast food. I worked for a lot of fast food, but I always see myself as a business owner. And I would look at everyone around me, and I would be like, you know what? Wow, I really see myself doing that. I know I can do that, but I didn't believe in myself. So I just say, when you love yourself, you will believe in yourself to become a better you, regardless of what you feel and regardless of what you see. And I hope that this helps someone today. And I'm tying it up in my conclusion. I would like to say, if it's you that want to become a better you, get up. Don't look at your mistakes as a failure. Take a lesson out of them. Take something out of it. And I'm a living witness. Listen, I did not love myself in the past. 2 years ago, I didn't love myself, but now I do. And if you have any advice, if you want to talk to me, you can. My Facebook is Alexis Middlebrooks. I have two. You can inbox me, and I would be glad to talk to you or just give you advice about how I took the steps to become a better me. And I hope everyone have a good day.